what do you say we try to free this thing up? So this is our mystery pole barn find 383. And the other night, Friday night, we did a basic teardown on it live. And then the other day I did a tour of the various bits and pieces that we got with it. So now we need to go the next step. We got to get these pistons and rods out of here and prep the block, see which of these pistons are savable, and then start putting it back together again. The goal here is to try to reuse as many of the original parts as possible. So we don't want no real violence here. We want to reuse these pistons. The problem is this thing is stuck. It's been sitting for decades. There's rust and corrosion around each of the pistons and the cylinder walls. It's frozen solid. So I'm going to try to get this thing to rotate now. And once I can get it to rotate, then I know that I can safely knock out each of the pistons. So I'll bring you up to speed on what we've done so far, and then, let's go for the ride together. So the first things first, we had a lot of crusty rust around several of these cylinders. And the first thing I did was I grabbed some sandpaper, went around, knocked all of that loose, wiped it all down. Then we took a feeler gauge. So this is a 10 thousandths feeler gauge. And boy, everything's filthy. 10 thousandths feeler gauge, and it's the small type. I wouldn't recommend trying to use one of those wide ones, but something like this. And we went around each of the pistons around the circumference here to dig out any crust or gack that might be between the piston and the cylinder wall. And we did that so that our lubricant, and in our case it's a mixture of ATF and acetone, could actually get in there and do its job against the rings. So after we cleaned that out, we took some of that acetone ATF mix, put on a paper towel, and repeatedly ran around the outside of the cylinder with it. Now, a lot of people will just soak it. You're just gonna pour it into the cylinders and then, okay, call it a day. But you know what? You're wasting your time, and you make it a mess for yourself, because it's gonna spill and splash all over the place during the next steps. So instead, we just want to get the lubricant where it needs to do its job, and that's between the piston and the cylinder wall. It's got to get down into the rings. So we repeatedly swiped each cylinder with this mixture on a paper towel. And it's been sitting for a little while. And our next step here is we want to make sure that it penetrates, that that lube gets down in there where it needs to go. So we're going to take a MAP gas torch, and we're going to go around each piston and get it warm. Not crazy hot, but just, warm. And this will also warm the block and help it expand a little bit and help to break that seal. So that's what I'm going to do right now. Put you guys down. Okay. So it's been soaking, I'm going to say about 6 hours now. Now, if it won't free easily this time around, I'm going to let it soak, let's say, for another day. But let's give this a shot. I think I can get this to go. I know this is not the most entertaining thing in the world. You get the general idea what I'm doing, right? Okay, I'll edit this and finish warming these pistons. Exciting, right? So, over the last 15 minutes or so, I've made a few laps around the engine. I don't want to get too much heat in one place, but just warm everything pretty much evenly. And the block is toasty. The pistons are equally toasty. I'm going to say I went on the pistons just to where the ATF started to react, where it started to smoke. So at that point we stop, move on to the next one. So now we've got it pretty evenly warmed up. Now, the next step is going to be controversial. I see a lot of you guys going like, oh my God, don't do that. But listen to me, okay? I'm freeing engines like this for like almost 50 years. So I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm talking about. We need to shock it loose. Now, the first instinct is to grab a piece of wood, right? A piece of hardwood, and put it between the piston and a hammer, okay? And then bang on the wood to free it up. The problem with doing it that way is that you're not shocking anything. So the wood is going to absorb all of the shock. And instead of freeing it, think of it like an impact gun, right? You know, if you just pull it on a bolt, it doesn't get you anywhere. Put the impact gun on it, pop, 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 and it breaks free. Well, it's the same situation here. We need to shock this thing free. So we're going to take a hammer and we're going to hit the pistons directly on their surface. And we got to do this carefully because we don't want to ding, we don't want to bash the pistons, we don't want to whack this. We want to tap it sharply with the blunt edge or the flat edge of the hammer. And we want to go all the way around and make sure that each of the pistons, each of the ring sets have been shocked, and that'll break free whatever grip they may still have on the cylinder walls. This will also give whatever lubricant is in there a chance to get in between. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go around the engine and I'm going to shock as many of these as I can get to with this hammer. A couple of them are down in the bore and this won't really reach, but we'll get enough of it. No real force. You're shocking it. The purpose here is to shock it. This one's too far down in the bore. I could get something and, you know, use an extension of some sort, but we'll just go around the other side and get the ones that are available. I just got squirted in the face with ATF. All right, so gone all the way around. That's as much of that as I need to do as far as like just shocking things. But now here's the next step. Some of the pistons are close to top dead center, and some of the pistons are close to bottom dead center. Now, let's just say the piston and rod assembly is at top dead center. Everything is pointing in a straight line. The crank pin, the rod, the piston is all in a straight line. So if I attempt to rotate this engine by hitting the ones that are either at the top or the bottom of their bores, I'm pushing everything just in a straight line. There's not going to be any rotation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to focus only on the cylinders that are halfway or close to halfway in their bore. That'll give us maximum leverage. The crank pin is laid over and we'll have maximum leverage. Every time we hit the top of a piston, it's going to try to transfer and rotate the engine. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to go around, back and forth, and I'm going to try to work it back and forth. I'm going to try to get this thing to just budge on its own. Let's just do it. All right, these two are, this one's perfect. This is right about mid-bore, but it's going to be hard to get a good shot on it without, because it's down in the bore, so it's going to be difficult to get a flat shot on the top of the piston, and we don't want to ding the pistons up. So I'm going to focus on this one right here. This one right here. I'm going to see if I can get any rotation out of it. No, not yet. Not yet. I'm going to go around and re-shock the ones that are kind of top and bottom. I'm not going to be able to get that one. Okay, did you guys hear that? Did you hear the tone change? Well, that sucked. It's about 100 degrees in here right now, and the camera overheated and shut off just as we were getting someplace. That tone change meant that the engine actually unlocked itself. So for the last 10-15 minutes while this camera's been cooling off, I've been going back and forth, and we're starting to see motion. The pistons are in a different position than they were. So we're working back and forth, side to side across the engine, and we're moving it a little at a time, little tiny bit at a time. And that's the key to freeing this thing with no damage. It's like very square blows, not whacking it crazy, but just nice, taps like that. And then, slowly working it back and forth, slowly working it back and forth. And we've made tremendous progress here. I'm gonna go around one more time, and I'm gonna try to hit it with the breaker bar again. Oh, they're moving. Now I'm just tapping this thing and they're moving. You hear the difference, right? Give it a shot. Yep, there we go. I don't want you, not too much force, not too much force. Go easy, don't get impatient. This is when you start tearing stuff up. Don't get impatient. There we go. You just want to find the movement and exploit it. There we go. There we go, perfect. We reached a hard stop there. You find that hard stop, just stop. Okay. There we go. And that is one free 3-3. All right, I get to a certain point and it's this piston right here. There's a, there's a good bit of rust there. I gotta clean this, sand it, and that's it. The next step here is just knock the pistons and rods out. There you go. All right, so that's how you free a stuck engine. Works every time. Take your time. Take your time. It's not a race. And if you have to, let it soak, walk away from it for a while, you do it. But little bit at a time, little increments, get you big results. All right, on to the next phase. I'll see you tomorrow.